Hi my crafter friends, welcome back to my craft room, where today we'll be making two cards using the Daffodil Daydream bundle. You can see that there's multiples of some of these dies, which makes it so much easier to cut. Now, these were from my original card, and I'm showing you how I taped them together just to make it easier to die cut multiples at one time. Our reversible paper works perfect. The Flowering Fields has such a great variety of designer papers to use. So I just used one that was more simple with the greens and blues. I also used the New Horizon paper in this card for the background. Now I'm going to stamp right on the designer paper to create a fun background, and I'm using polished pink ink. Now basically, I just wanted to go around the outside edge. We're also going to be using the Daffodil Delight ink, and we're going to sponge the white portions that we die cut. Now you can also use any color you like. If you don't have the exact color, use a different yellow, but just two different colors for the flower gives it a good variety. The other die cut pieces for the flower, I used Mango Melody. The reason I chose to sponge on the paper, because I didn't want a solid yellow paper. I wanted a little bit of white showing through. It was interesting figuring out which pieces go together, but it all came together well. I don't think I would have figured it out had I not seen a video on what pieces go together. But once you see it, then you know which pieces and you'll remember. Because you have a background cut and you have a detailed cut. Now that you get the petals put together, then you'll assemble each flower. And with all these pieces, it's going to make two flowers and a bud. So that's one flower, and then these two stack on top of each other with the top portion there, and then the flower bud. Now we'll set those aside while we put our stems together. Now some of them are leaves and some of them are the stems for the flowers. So there is a die cut for the bud that goes in two different directions. So depending on how you want your flowers to sit on your card, you'll have to take a look at which direction the bud stem goes. My first card I did, my practice card, I did it the opposite direction I'm doing here because I wasn't paying attention to what I was die cutting. So anyways, there are two different directions for those bud stems. I'm letting my leaves and my flowers hang over the paper edges. Then I'm bringing in my ribbon. It's a seam binding ribbon. It's a 1/2 inch white. You can use any white or cream color, and you can use either your water markers or your blends to color your ribbon. I'm using the dark polished pink blends marker to color my ribbon here. Then I'm going to let that dry. I'll go ahead and use my tear and tape. This is a neat technique where you make tabs on the back of your paper that you're going to adhere, and that way you can perfectly center it onto the card base. So with your take your pick tool, just kind of slide it back and forth to pull up a little edge and turn it over, and it makes tabs. This is my favorite technique for positioning my card front to my card base. It's real good to use tear and tape when you're using designer series papers because they're thinner papers, and if you get too much of the liquid adhesive, it will cause bubbling on your top of your paper, and you'll be able to see the bubbles. So the ink kind of makes the ribbon a little stiff, but anyways, I tie my bow, and then I can finish assembling, bring in my dimensionals. Trim off my stems, and then I'll be using a glue dot for the ribbon. I use Amazing Thanks dies and So Saffron and white for my sentiment on the front. Garden Green is a strip of paper that I'm using behind. Now we're going to do some stamping and coloring. Coloring is not my favorite thing because I'm not really good at it. So I'm going to show you a technique which I call bubble coloring as opposed to fussy coloring. As in cutting, you know, fussy cutting is cutting very close to the line. Bubble coloring is coloring outside the line because I'm not good at it. I like to bubble color, and that therefore when I go to die cut, it's not going to leave a white trim around the edge. The edges will be colored, and then you can't see where I make mistakes. So in this instance, it's okay to color outside the lines. Then I go back in with a darker color and give some detail. These markers are Daffodil Delight. I used the Just Jade, but I think I would have preferred to use the light, soft, succulent green. You can use any colors that you have on hand. So after I die cut these, I can see exactly where I need to touch up some of the ink. Quick and easy fix. Now for the background, I opted for the less busy background, so I'm putting my tear and tape on the back, making my tabs. Ready to assemble. If you like my videos, please share, like, and subscribe. Layering the flowers and then the butterflies. I wanted to put one stuck in between the flowers there. And then the background for the sentiment. I just feel the green makes the sentiment pop better than just over the flowers. And there's that card. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed. Again, Daffodil Daydreams bundle is what we use today, which has coordinating dies, which is so helpful. I store my dies inside the cases. Here are the ingredients that it took for these cards, and you can vary the ingredients, but if you want to know what I used, here it is. Thank you.